Good evening once again. Welcome to another presentation of the famous Issues Room. The Issues Room is here again on its 41st edition to discuss some of the political conundrums in Liberia. This evening we have a very packed house to discuss the current political rift in the CPP, the legal actions against Mr. Cummings by ALP, which is the All Liberian Political Party, or All Liberian Party, put it that way, uh, headed by Benoni Ure, and also Mr. Cummings' claims about the government is witch hunting him, and the CPP trying to stall the process because he is the front runner to become the standard bearer of the CPP, and just so many things going on. This evening we gonna be looking at just in our trending news, the just recent death toll that took place in New Crew Town following a crusade that took place out there. That would be just discussed briefly in the trending news. If you just joining us, we want to welcome you. We want you to signal that you're in studios with us. Come in our chat room, spread the page, tell someone the issues room is here broadcasting live. And I have Volcano Shelton coming your way from Philadelphia. And let me welcome Moses Sandy, who is in Newcastle, Delaware. Moses, good evening. Welcome to the issues room. You're a little bit, so
Yeah,
seem to be down on the
Volcano.
weather.
Yeah, I'm not really down on the weather, but I come with heavy heart. Come with heavy heart in the wake of the current situation in Liberia. The stampede in Newcreton, which claimed uh, 29 human lives, and the situation which also led to several people being hospitalized. It's a difficult time. I'm sure you feel the same way like I do, Volcano.
Well, obviously, Moses, like I said, and I continue to say that every day you wake up, there's something new about Liberia, whether
Yeah.
good, whether bad, whether ugly. And this one was extremely ugly. Ugly because we've spoken about the lack of rule of law in the country. When you have hooligans taking knives and machetes or whatever blunt instruments to go and attack people because you want their phones, you want their personal belongings, Moses, then where in the country people will be safe?
You know, Volcano,
That
it is
extreme
it's
bravery.
it's
That is
it's
extreme
it's
bravery.
it is very difficult, to discuss these things, because sometimes you speak to these critical issues and people just for no reason say, oh well, you guys hit the government, you hit the government, you hit the government. But this is not about hitting the government. I don't know what is gonna do you do
I can hear you. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, when you speak to these critical issues, most of the time people say you hit the government, you hit the government. But Liberia is faced with a serious leadership problem for Ghana. I mean, for a group of people to take control of the country, become law unto themselves, these quote unquote Zogos, wayward individuals that are literally ruining the lives of people in the country, and nothing seems to be happening. It's just sad. The situation in Nikuta is a wake up call that these Zogos need to be brought under control.
And it's just not. I mean, the Zogos, the pimping boys, the keked, all of these things are the reasons why it just look like, and it's hard to kind of describe it when you think about it, Moses. When
Yeah.
I saw those folks, what you call it, the slippers, the footwear, all over the place scattered, that tells you it was serious. But let's take a moment of silence for those people for losing their lives senselessly, and we'll hope that the government will do something about it, in terms of investigating thoroughly to bring people to justice. Let's take a moment of silence, especially you, our viewers, and everyone who's watching right now. Thank you. Thank you. So
Thank you.
Moses, tonight we gonna be looking at the whole situation out there in Monrovia involving Mr. Cummings. We've invited, you know, three folks, but I just spoke with one of our discussants, Mr. Dean Wilson. He is in a situation right now, emergency, that he couldn't join us here tonight. So of course we have our two other guests. We have Mr. Mounir Keshen. He calls himself the General. You are live, Mounir, if you're looking. Can you hear us?
The general.
Mounir, okay, I guess he's not paying attention. Your
Yeah.
microphone is off. Your mic is off.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good. Could you just drop your
I
head
think I'm
room
on
a
now.
little bit? Could
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know why
And your
your
lighting.
your your back your visual is kind of like blur, but I guess
Yeah.
it's where you
Yeah,
are.
my
It's
light is
understandable.
flashing.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bring you back. Let's try to set it out quick. So let's bring in Mr. James Koiyan from the Dougal Ivy League schools. He's back here with us. He was one of our discussants when we started this conversation around the CPP. Good to have you again, Mr. Koiyan.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
And you
Welcome,
said
James.
whenever we got back on this conversation, you wanted to be here. So we hope that you've done your research and you've gathered some good information here for us to, have a good conversation. And it will be an uphill battle because you got the general here who's representing Ellis Cummings. So, Monia,
So
welcome
this is,
again to the issues room.
but look, Volcano, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't want to laugh, but this is going to be an interesting show. Yeah.
Because you
Hmm.
see, you see the man logo in the background, Alexander B. Cummings
But
Jr.,
you
the
can
real
see
change.
the man's in the house, my man. Money.
Are you settled now?
I'm settled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure why your internet signal is
Why
kind
all
of
your
like,
freeze up?
yeah.
No, we're watching. We're looking at
No.
you. You're okay.
Oh, I'm okay. I can hear you guys, but I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we hear you
Okay.
now. We
I
hear you.
thought I
Yeah,
thought
but
I
you,
thought you were in Morovia.
I'm okay, but I see three of your freeze up.
Huh?
No, oh,
You
Okay.
really?
said we
Is
freezing?
yeah, it's like our
Nah,
videos are
nah.
frozen. Yeah,
I wish I was there.
yeah. But man, you see, I'm in Monrovia today. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, but gentlemen, welcome to the issues room. I'm hoping that technically we have
Yeah, you
settled.
in more. Yeah, yeah.
Money, I'm in Monrovia today.
As I was saying, technically I hope we've settled. But this conversation has taken the airwaves regarding what is happening right now in the CPP involving the ANC, the LP, the ALP, and all of that. Uh, you know, we have a little background here from the issues room. Uh, the background here is that the CPP uh, was established to make President Weah a one-term president. That was the foremost objective of the CPP. And accordingly, this idea was put forth by former Vice President Boycott, who conceived the idea to do a merger or a collaboration of political parties. So then the ANC, ALP, the UP, and the LP came together to form the CPP. In December of 2020, it was demonstrated that the CPP was formidable in a way because they won most of the midterm senatorial election seats, um, which then sent a signal that, wait a minute, these guys means business. And then here we are with internal rift. The CPP is now at the brink of collapse. From what we know, um, it seems as though it's in complete shambles. We know that the ALP has walked away and the UP and LP are still fence sitting, but the matter seemed not to be resolved. We have not heard much, and everybody seemed to be watching what is happening with the legal battle. Moses, is there anything you want to add before we proceed?
No, you excellently summarized the purpose of the CPP and the current situation in the in the CPP, the leadership crisis, the internal rift, the bickering, the political bickering, which seems to rather be defeating the purpose of the collaboration. On December 8th, 2020, when the CPP won majority of the legislative seats in the Senate, that sent a very strong message to the ruling party. But would like to get from the perspectives of Mr. Monin Kishen and our brother James Koiyan, who also has a leaning for the Coalition Democratic Party. And Mr. Kishen is a strong supporter of Mr. Alexander Cummings of the Alternative National Congress. And let's see what the perspectives are, because these are people who advocate issues in private places and also in public places. So, Volcano, you want to lead the process?
All right. So, I guess the summary here was to set the stage because a lot of people wouldn't know. But someone here just corrected that the idea was not conceived by JMB, accordingly, Charles Walker Bromskin.
No,
Um,
that's
yeah.
a volcano. Let's
I mean,
let's not go into
listen,
that.
no,
Yeah,
no,
the
oh, yeah,
president is off tangent. Yeah,
yeah.
the president is off tangent. Yeah, go ahead.
I said someone said. I didn't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
that's what
we
I'm
should
saying. Yeah,
make
the person who
correction.
said that is off
Yeah,
tangent. Yeah,
if it requires further research, they can
yeah,
opinion it.
yeah.
But that's what I was just trying to throw out there. But
Okay.
anyway, let's start this conversation. I'll start with Mr. Keshen since he's the one in the room right now representing the CPP. I mean the ANC. Where are we right now, Mr. Keshen? Bring us to speed about where this political battle is, the lawsuit, the legal, and everything regarding the ANC.
Okay, I want to say thanks first, but before I start, I want to extend my sympathy to the families, and I have a relative in that group too
Oh man,
that
sorry man,
lost their
sorry
life on
money,
that day.
sorry
So I
money.
just want to say I sympathize with them, like any other body, but that's the will of God. I don't want to say I'm going to blame anybody right now, but when the appropriate time comes, we'll be able to speak about it. But today I'm here to speak to promote Mr. Cummings. I'm not here to promote myself as usual. I'm here to sell Mr. Cummings to Liberian people. So everything I will say today was truth, and it will be something that I know, and I'm speaking from inside, from a reliable source. But so far, I'm not going to go depth into the case. But one thing I will tell people that are listening to us that this case is not just a case; it's a political witch hunt. That's how we call it, because uh, if you have listened to especially the Solicitor General, because you cannot get a case and you all over the social media when you have not even started a case, and to prosecute a man, you have all the evidence in front of you. Then at the end of the day, you're asking for evidence again. And according to our source, we know that this is not a case. So we're not really going to concentrate on it. They're trying to slow Mr. Cummings down because they know what he's doing. So they try to slow him down. But it's not going to stop him. He's stronger than before, and we are going to continue our message. So this case, to be frank with you, yes, it is a case. Yes, we'll let the Liberian people know that it's a political witch hunt. We know exactly what's going on. And I pray that Mr. Boaka and Yombly and Euro will take the stand to testify against Mr. Cummings. Then we'll know that, because as far as I'm concerned, right now, Mr. Cummings is the only opposition political leader. So that is what's going on, and they are stuck into a room because they are calling on them to go and testify, and they're pushing back. I'm giving you a reliable information, but we're waiting for that day. But as far as I'm concerned, the case is not a case.
So when you
Liberian will
say
say it's a
when you
cartoon.
say witch hunt,
We'll
when
get
you
out
say
of it, and we're expecting another one to come out. This whole year will be a tough year for us.
So when you say witch hunt, who witch hunting?
Money.
Okay, now it's the government.
But look,
Listen,
Let me
uh,
come in.
you don't have to be a
mhm.
rocket scientist to know who's. I said the government.
Okay.
his microphone,
Yeah,
Volcano.
go ahead, Moses.
It's
You
like,
said the
I'm
government.
listening to you.
yeah, your microphone is okay, Money, because like you're going in and out.
You think so? You think that my
Yeah, you are
microphone?
going in and out, right, Volcano?
Yes, I can hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. You said the government. Why
okay.
why why you say the government?
Oh, you sure? Okay, hold on one
Yeah,
minute, please. Hold on one minute. My
his
daughter calling me.
microphone.
Just
Yeah.
1 minute,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
I got it. It's very important.
But let me come to Eugene why he handles that call. He just said the government. Why you think he will make this allegation and meaning the Alexander Cummings? Because he's just a follow-up voice.
This case, everyone understands, is a political case. Um, the ELP filed a case with the court, and as per the law, criminal cases are prosecuted by the Ministry of Justice, and so the government has no option but to be the one prosecuting the case for and on behalf of the ELP. Now, whether that translates to witch hunt or translate to anything negative against the ANC, that is the opinion of those who are saying it. Um, if there was no law that says this case can be prosecuted, a criminal case can be prosecuted by the Ministry of Justice, I don't think the Justice Ministry would have been involved. As to the issue of money, said they're asking for evidence. We all know, those of you who are lawyers understand that in criminal cases, you don't ask the defendant to produce evidence against himself. But rather, if it is a civil case, of course, the law requires that you can be asked as a defendant to produce evidences in the case that you have been prosecuted for. So these are simple legal issues that the lawyers have propounded repeatedly, and those of us who are not lawyers will understand that indeed this is where they're coming from. But the issue, whether it is a political case or it's a witch hunt, I think that's the opinion of those who are saying it.
But look, let me just let me just provide some background information.
Okay, can I come in?
Money. Let me just provide this background information before we move on to all these accusation of whether it's wish hunt or not. Uh, those who've been consistently following political developments in Liberia, with reference to the CPP, we agreed that a few months ago, Mr. Benona Ure of the ALP, the All Liberian Party, raised concern. And his concern then was that he feels that the framework document of the CPP was tampered with. And his claim was supported by Yombli Kanga and other senior executives of the CPP. They all continuously spoke out about what they claimed was some unauthorized alteration in the framework document. At the time, Mr. Cummings uh, publicly challenged Mr. Uri and the others that, hey, if you guys feel aggrieved, because as far as then he was concerned, he had committed no crime. Nothing wrong happened. And he challenged the ALP, Stanley Barrow, Uri, and the others that, hey, if they felt aggrieved, and which of course I think anybody should do. If you are displeased about something, then what do? You seek legal recourse. So predicated on that, the ALP and Mr. Ure decided to go to court. A lawsuit was filed at the Monrovia City Court earlier this month. And when the lawsuit was filed, it was filed against Mr. Cummings, the Secretary General of the ANC, and Senator Daniel Nathan or Bapolo also having to be a member of the CPP. And the allegation is that they may have played key role in the unauthorized alteration of the framework document. And then another allegation is that the ALP is claiming that the signature of its standard bearer was forged because the allegation out there is that when the illegal alteration was made in the framework document, the signature page that was attached to that signature page was created months back. And when the alteration was made, according to the ALP, according to Mr. Ure, the political leaders never had the opportunity of reviewing that document before it was submitted to the NEC. This is the claim from Mr. Ure. This is the claim from the ALP. So whether that is political now and not, let's understand the legal basis for the lawsuit. That's why I wanted to provide. Go ahead, Mr. Keshen. You wanted to say something, Money. Go ahead.
Okay, I said, and I will stand by what I said earlier. I said it's a political witch
Okay.
hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I said it and I stand by it. When you get a solicitor general who got a case, we all know criminal cases, government take control. But if you will come on social media and start to talk about case that you have not even started and trying to find this man guilty already. He was on a spoon network that he has in his possession evidence that will convict Mr. Cummings. That if he don't be careful, he might go to jail for 1 to 1 year, 6 months. He said it already. The first thing is that in a decent country or country that abide by laws, they will throw that case out first. So just from there, we know that yes, the government is involved. And you said something about the framework.
Yeah.
Mr. Ure is on record saying that yes, we told the lawyers to amend it, to go through the amendment, and we got copy in our possession. Then on another tape, he said, "Oh no, we don't have copies." I played the other day just to show the inconsistencies of Mr. Ure. Today he got copy. Tomorrow there is no copy. So this wonderful signature page, we all know exactly what happened. You were on Zoom. Mo Ali was the one who went around and collected these pages, went around for everybody to sign, and they brought it. The secretariat that headed by a Luscious store at the time had the four parties, they are all part of it. No political leader put that document under their arms to go and register a political party. We know that. So even going after political leader, if you want to sue ANC, fine. But if you put the political leader, today is a forgery, the next day you say temper of a document, they got three different types of sue. We don't know which one they're on right now. We don't know which one. The first thing. So we know that Ure, we said it before and will continue to say it from last year, and you can bear on my show. I said Ure worked for the government. Ure is playing a double game, and he has
Money.
proven
Money.
the entire communication, and he never informed Yombly, neither Waka, and turned everything over. So it's a witch hunt.
So, well, look, Mr. Kishin, it is easy to say that it is a vision, but now help us understand here. Do you have the evidence to support your claim? Because this seems to be real huge. How can you operationalize witch hunt to the many people listening to you? Why do you think Mr. Cummings is being haunted by the
I
Liberian
just
government?
told
What
you
is the legal basis for that?
because he's the front runner. He's the front runner, and George, we are government, the CDC knows that they will be going against Mr. Cummings, whether they like it or not. Mr. Boaka won't be in the race. They will go against Mr. Cummings. Everybody overlooked Mr. Cummings the initial stage, thinking that Mr. Cummings was nothing. But this man continued to do his work, going around the country, explain to Liberian people, making his case. That's what a politician does. You don't just sit back and think that it will walk to you. So he have traveled the length and breadth of Liberia and continue to make his case. So right now he's relevant. So every newspaper, every outlet, every corner you go to Liberia today, you will hear the name Cummings. Only a few people don't want to accept it. They stay in denial that nobody know Cummings, but that's of. But we know that Mr. Cummings is the front runner. And listen, we heard it, we hear people that that government don't have secret. But I don't have to come and show you a proof from the Magale and whosoever. They know, they tell it. Cummings is the man that they look at. They must put something on him. You know, because the people love when they say you corrupt in Liberia, it's a proud. It's a good name when they say you corrupt. When they mess up in integrity, it's nothing. But other people, so since Mr. Cummings, we say, oh, he's a clean hand, clean hand. We got to put something on Cummings. He's corrupt. He forged a signature. We take him for criminals. We listen to the surrogates, the way they explain on social media to show that, oh, yes, he's corrupt. We will work with the government. We will make sure they prosecute him. He will go to jail. He's a criminal. When you hear them saying these things, that's evident by itself. And the people who are saying it today, they are slowing down. They are not speaking too much again because this case going to go against them. Look at social media. They're not speaking like before. They are going back into the shelf. We know when things are wrong. So as far as I'm concerned, you know that they are asking for Yombly and Bwaka to testify? Who are they going to testify against? Mr. Cummings? Then the Liberian people will know what. That means they are not opposition anymore. So maybe Mr. Cummings is the only opposition. So it getting tighter and tighter. Everybody now getting in the corner. They're going to throw it out. We
So
know that.
Mounir,
But it's just a
Mounir,
matter of
wait,
time.
wait.
So they can do whatsoever. But we will continue the
uh,
campaign trail. We will continue to propagate the message. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Let's come to James. I was about to throw something in, but I'll let you come in, James. Then I'll
gentlemen,
come back.
listen. I don't know specifically what issue we're dealing with right now,
We're
but I mean,
discussing the
yeah, but
crisis in
with
the
the
CPP, the lawsuit, and all of that.
with the marathon that Mr. Keshen just went on with, uh, I told a colleague of mine on one of the major talk show platforms a long time ago. We had a chat, and I told him the CPP would not survive, and he was angry. He said that's not true. If you have Samuel Doe once said he told the Sawyers and the rest of them when they demonstrated in Washington D.C. during the 1990s, he said, "I want you to come back home and be president of a small country with highly educated people and see how difficult it is to lead." These folks came together believing that George Weah is the worst leader under the heavens and that they have all the solutions, but yet they cannot control their own institutions. The CPP is dead. CPP would never survive because you have greedy political leaders who believe that without them there should be nobody else. Now let me tell you what has happened to the CPP. Um, Ure had initially said from the beginning, before the CPP came to be, that he was always support Bwaka, and I knew Cummings knew that. So you will do everything possible to ensure that Mr. Bwaka is the standard bearer for the CPP. The first thing they did, they wanted to issue the voter perception survey. That didn't work. It backfired. Then they went back to say, okay, you know what? We have black voting. And that issue was propounded by a young man on another talk show that, well, we have black voting. All of our 300 delegates will just stand up and say, yeah, we vote. How can we appreciate democracy coming with black voting? Number three, the ANC has a very bad communication mechanism. They are poor at communicating. So all the difficulty ANC is having right now is because they have a poor communication team that is not propounding the issues. One group will come and say the other thing. The other group is not able to support the view of the others. They will continue in this vicious cycle. Mr. Bwaka, one guy said on another talk show that Mr. Bwaka will not be a candidate in 2023. And I think I believe that guy. So Mr. Bwaka cannot leave from his seat and go anywhere else. Cummings is moving around the country, selling his political agenda, selling his ideas. But the most favored candidate to say Cummings is the one that is the front runner, I disagree. The perceived front runner in the CPP or in the broken CPP is Ambassador Joseph Bwaka. But whether Bwaka has what it takes to actually lead Liberia at this point, that's an issue for all of us to think about. And I want to agree with that gentleman who said, I don't believe Mr. Bwaka will be a candidate in 2017. And so
You mean 2023?
In 2023, and that whether Cummings wants to take advantage of that and sell himself as much as he can, that's another issue. But the CPP is dead. The court case has even discouraged more Liberians from joining the CPP or supporting any major candidate in the CPP. Everyone is saying, well, it's better to be with the devil you know than the angel you really don't know. Because if they are struggling over power, people see Cummings as being power greedy. He's pushing himself because he wants to be the political leader of the CPP and he wants to take over. So he's doing everything possible to sell himself and make himself the candidate. And I mean, people are looking through the mirror. I hope they can see the light. But I guarantee you that the CPP has failed. President Weah will win the election in 2023 based on what is happening within the
Man, is
CPP.
that an emphatic declaration?
No, I mean,
That's my view, right?
that
Okay.
is
And
opinion.
my view is
Yeah, but
supported
I
by
mean,
what's
coming
happening.
from him, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
my view is supported by what's happening within the CPP, what's happening in our political landscape. You can understand and know that indeed that the CPP has failed, and many Liberians have lost faith in the CPP.
So Thomas
James,
Awaji wants to know why would JMB not be a candidate in 2023? Why you
I,
said that? What's his
I,
supporting evidence?
according to the analysis that folks have raised, Mr. Barker said he's not well. He has a major health issue. That issue will stop him from campaigning as rigorously as he wants to campaign. In Liberia, everyone will take a long. I mean, if you want to be president of Liberia, you need to travel. I mean, especially for new candidates or candidates who people don't know. 2017 is a big example. Mr. Boga visited Lofa County. He won all the votes in Lofa. Which county did Mr. Boga go to next? Where did he get many votes from? He was in Nimba County. He got sufficient support in Nimba, but all other counties he lost. So he got his two major big votes came from, let's say three, Montserrado, Lofa, and Nimba. With the other counties, no. Does he have the capacity to travel the length and breadth of Liberia? Personally, I doubt it. And that was the guy's analysis. He believed that Boga cannot. I mean, that is going to hamper him in 2 years from now. He may not be a candidate in 2023.
So
but
let
not
me come
James,
before Moses.
Volcano. Yeah,
Yeah,
quickly.
I wanted to ask that question before he.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can
Um,
I?
so let me just understand something here. We have the only two people who really expressed the desire to run the country against Mr. Weir is Joseph N. Boyka and Alexander B. Cummings. From what we know, Yumli Kanga has no presidential aspirations, as we would say the same for Benoni Yuri. He, except he changes his mind to go against Cummings, but otherwise he has said that he's not interested. So if we look at it too, what makes it so hard for these two men to come together, talk about what they're going to do in terms of keeping this merger and move forward? From your insight, Mounir, what are you hearing? Has there been any time that these people, with everything that is happening on the outside, but from the behind the scenes, what is happening that will keep this conglomeration together? And even if other people, I mean, because the other two political parties have expressed that they don't have presidential aspirations, it's only the ANC and the UP. What are you hearing behind the scene? Because it bothers me um, to know that you know everything is out here
Okay,
and
and uh,
we don't know what's happening. Because I know you have inside information. You said here, you show that there's witch hunting. You show that this, that, that.
okay,
So tell us, are these people talking at all?
We're listening to you,
listen.
Mr. Kishner.
And Koiyan said something here first before I go to your question. He says, yes, you can hear me?
Yeah, you're just having a
Can you hear
bad
me?
Yeah,
connection
having
somewhere. I don't
communication
know.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
yeah. Go ahead. We're listening.
So can you hear me
Yeah, we are
now?
listening to you. Mhm.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, Koiyan said that the CPP is dead. Yes, he said the CPP is dead. But I just want to tell him, and in a marriage, they got something called separation and they got something called divorce. If you tell me the own separation right now, I will listen to you. And if you think that the problem within the CPP will give George Weah a victory in 2023, you're getting it wrong. The only thing it might do for George Weah is to take him to the second round where he would not get the same 51%. We all know that. We know the percentage of CDC, whether we like it. If the coalition holds together, it's a one round victory. I agree. But I will tell you, any party that will go in the second round with George, with the CDC this time around, they would not vote the CDC into power. So it was not the sedition that gave CDC the victory. It was other 24% of Liberians who decided to vote for CDC in the second round. So I want you to get that off your mind. Don't think they might take you in the second round if everybody goes separately, which is true. And don't be surprised, you might not even get into the second round. So it's something that we, because not, don't look at 2017 results and think that it will fly, it will be into the scene 2022. That means Lofa County is supposed to win this time around, but this time they never go nowhere. Now let's go to the CDC, the ANC, the CPP. You know, we're only trying to tell people that whatever you sign, whenever you sign a contract or a document, live by it. We have three processes. You see the VPS, they refused this VPS to be part of the process, but it was just for record keeping. The first one is for them to go into the room, decide who's going to be the next president and who's going to be the standard bearer and the vice standard bearer. That was not going to work because when you get one of the political leader coming up before even the process started that I will support Bouaka, and then another political leader said I will support Bouaka. Do you expect me to go into into that room and come out with anything good? No. So the only thing that we're depending on, let's go to the convention, the primary, where everybody take the 310 votes according to the work, the framework. Once you take your 310 votes, they will decide, the 1,240 will decide who to be the standard bearer. So it's up to you to do your homework with your delegates. But remember, according to that same document, when you enter that room, you're not representing a party anymore. Every party has the right to lobby delegates and talk to them and say, listen, I need your support. I need your support. Mr. Bouaka has the right to go to ANC.
And
ANC got the right to go to
all of this.
UP.
I think we had
and we
this
got only two
conversation
persons
before.
going for this position.
Mounir,
So we have
we had
all right to
Mounir,
vote
can you
for
hear me?
every party.
Mounir, can you hear me?
Yes. So please,
Mounir,
that is the issue. We don't have to go behind closed door and talk about it. Only the primary.
Okay, we got that.
So you're telling me now,
I'm listening.
My question was, at what point do you know that with everything that is happening, Mr. Bouaka and Mr. Cummings are still having conversations? That's what I'm asking. Since you are the insider, are they talking?
They are having no conversation, Volcano.
There's no
They're having no
conversation.
conversation.
No.
And,
But look,
and believe, like I told
There's
you,
no conversation.
like I told you,
All right, let's hear from James.
There's no
Mr.
conversation.
Bouaka, the
Mr. Bouaka is
ambassador
part
made,
of the CPP right now.
Okay,
Hold on.
yeah,
James
let
is
James
talking.
go ahead. Go ahead,
About-
James.
okay, thank you so much. Ambassador Bouaka probably has a better campaign mechanism than Cummings. Again, like I told you, the common folks are a bunch of silent people. They are not into the. I mean, all of their communication, they have a very poor propaganda mechanism. Okay, if you look at what the Bouaka folks are doing, they're all out there. In as much as Bouaka is not out there speaking himself, but his surrogates are out there and propounding the issues and saying Bouaka has more supporting like among the opposition than any other opposition candidate. So Mr. Cummings is trying to fit in, but his team is just look at this case. Where is the ANC communication team with the whole case? Where are they? They are lost in translation. This whole thing is about, I see some political greed within the opposition, and so I mean because their mechanism is poor, nobody's coming to defend the issues. You know, they just sit there and you leave from your house, go to the courthouse. You have a political leader, you have a communication team, and you can't get no information from them. It's just sad.
And James, let me just quickly ask you this question. Mounir came in with this wild claim that the current legal matter is a witch hunt. Do you believe what Mr. Keshen is saying?
I don't believe it. I mean, listen to me. I told you from the beginning that had the government not been the one authorized by law to prosecute criminal cases, of course the government, the justice minister would not be involved. I still believe that the case has some flaws. I'm not a legal practitioner, and this is my personal view. Okay, the fact that the justice minister will be asking the defendant to produce evidence against himself, That's a flaw in my own opinion. That's a flaw. You know,
And
where
I
where's the
also wanted
ANC
to ask you, do
communication
you
team
see
to
this case
profound
going
this issue?
anywhere? James, do you see this case going anywhere?
That is left purely to the judgment of the judge, Judge Joma Jala. I hope he can see the legal issues. I hope he can see the flaw in the prosecution case. And in my
And the witch
opinion,
hunting, and the witch hunting too.
what I wish one thing that would be the view of those who are saying it, and
Yeah.
see the flaws and say, look, this case. I mean, Mr. Ure brought this case because I think he look. There are other issues here we can deal with as far as Mr. the Ure factor is concerned versus Cummings. Ure didn't hide his opinion about Cummings from way back. Ure has always been negative about Cummings. Do you expect Ure, if he thinks a candidate is losing, not to raise any issue to destroy the other candidate? I mean, against his candidate? Of course he will. This is politics. But where the politics has reached now, he has gone beyond the bound.
But there's just speculation out there that Mr. Ure is in collaboration with the ruling administration to prevent Mr. Cummings from becoming the standard bearer of the CPP, or to prevent him from participating in the 2023 election. What do you make of that?
I think the mistake here that the CPP made from the beginning was to bring all the bottleneck. Number one, VPS that failed. They should have allowed the delegates to go to, they should go to the convention, allow the delegates to select the candidate, have a compromise, and you fighting for Baga to be the standard bearer and Cummings to be the VP. That's the structure that all of their partisan wanted. We'll not be discussing this issue. But the United Party, some of the United Party folks, the ARP folks decided, okay, we have to ensure that there's no primary. We just push Baga to be the standard bearer. If not, we spoil the whole thing. And in my opinion, that's what they did. And this is what the CPP is. Believe me, there will be no way that there can be trust among these four political leaders. ALP and the breakaway Liberty Party will not trust ANC, and the ANC will not trust them either. So this is done.
So let me say this quick. From everything and all of the things that we've said here tonight, the analysis here from my perspective is that I can see Cummings on his own, because Yumli, ALP, they're in support of Mr. Boyka. It's all clear
Mhm.
from the onset. So do we see a new merger and then try to bring in Tiawon Gonglo and bring in what's his name, Daniel Cassell? And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm coming straight to you, Mounir. Do you really think that Alexander Cummings can stand on his own in the Liberian presidential elections and make a difference? Because I can see the possibility of Tiawon Gonglo boycott ticket. I can see the possibility of a Tiawon, or Daniel Cassell and boycott ticket. It's all possible. Those guys will go to where they will get votes. Do you think that
Cassell
Alexander
from Lofa
Cummings
County,
now,
Cassell
with
from
every
Lofa County, so he can be a
yeah,
VP to Boga.
I'm just saying something. But do you think that it's possible for Mr. Cummings to be on his own?
Well,
This
can
is
I
the
come?
wilderness now. Come on, this is the political wilderness.
Well, according to your analysis, I think no, 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 no. Listen, listen. You just said something and you gave your view, your possibility. You see Boaka and Gonglo. It's possibility you see Boaka and Kasser. It's possible that you see Cummings and Gonglo. It is possible that you see Cummings and someone else. No one man can get into a race like this
Cummings
and
and
say,
Joseph
I
Boakai.
am the giant and I'm just going to take it by myself. No,
What's
you
this
need
Cummings
collaboration.
will
You
be?
need
Cummings,
people.
Cummings and
No,
Joseph
no, no.
Boakai is
It could
also
be
possible.
Cummings at the top and Joseph Boaga at the
No,
bottom. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's possible.
so,
Depends. It's
So
up
this
to
is
look.
why
The candidate,
that is why we're
the
seeing that
standard
there's so
bearer.
much ego here.
Listen, listen. Is the responsibility? Is the responsibility? No, listen. No, 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 no. Listen. Yeah, and Shelton. Let us say this. It's not about ego. When you come up, you have a vision. You put your plans together, and you say, "Okay, I'm getting ready to go into this race, and I want to run for president of Liberia." And the Constitution, yes, that is your right to run. And someone comes from nowhere and say, "Shut up. Why you want to run for? Just go as VP. Who are you to run? No, no one has the right to tell you not to run. Only the Liberian people can decide that. And at the same time, we're in a collaboration. We're going to a tournament. I've not even played my first game yet. And you telling me I should take second place in this tournament. And I haven't played the first game. You say, I listened to Koiyan and I want to tell you, I appreciate what you just said. To the convention, you could compromise there. But because let me tell you the whole thing. Because they know exactly what was in this document, that is why you will rub it in Mr. Cummings' face that I'm supporting Bwaka and Cummings will not go nowhere. They know exactly. They put that clause in the document because of that collaboration will not hold. It will always break down. So they put in there that, okay, when we sign this document, nobody going to leave. Individual can leave, but if an organization or you sign a contract, you stand by that contract. And they knew exactly. So Mr. Cummings have been saying it over to ANC people. Say, listen, I can't leave the CPP. Everybody say, Mr. Cummings, leave. Mr. Cummings, leave. I cannot leave because if I leave, we will not contest. That means we'll have to forget it or go independent, and which was impossible. So nobody should tell Mr. Cummings, but there are other political parties who might join. You don't know. There are other small political parties that you can talk to. And in a same CPP document, a legitimate party has the right to join, but they all got to be agreed by the four parties must agree. That is why you see Ure refused for the coalition to join because they think that the coalition was supporting Mr. Cummings. So they refused the Rainbow Coalition to join the CPP. But it's in a document that other political parties can join, but they must be agreed by the four political leaders before anybody can join. So a consensus thing, not that one. Consensus is not about three, it's about four. They all must agree. So if you really want to leave, Mr. Cummings, if he will go on his own, he will join with other people. He will talk to other people. So Mr. Cummings alone will not just get up, oh, I can win George. Well, nobody say George, we are going to be a free ride. It's not going to be a free ride. It's going to be a tough election. As much as you want, Josh, they tested power already, so they know exactly has everything in a convenient, the money and whatsoever. So it's not just a free thing. So if you think that Mr. Cummings is willing to go on his own, no, we will talk to other people. If nobody want to join, we will go. But we're talking to people. We're talking to other political parties to be part of the coalition.
What coalition? The CPP or a new coalition?
Let me tell you this much.
I'm coming, James. What coalition? You just said a coalition. Which one? The CPP or a new coalition?
You said there was a new collaboration coming up, and Cummings is also coming up. But let me say this before I get close on the issue. CPP is dead. CPP will not stand.
No, the man said the unseparation. They are not divorced.
Let me tell you what really happened. This is my view, and I believe that the crumbling of the CPP, Cummings takes to the biggest responsibility.
Mr. Keshen, let him speak. Yeah.
Mr. Cummings takes full responsibility for the dismantling of the CPP because he believes that he cannot be second to anybody. Had he accepted, and I believe all of these guys in the CPP, especially the ANC folks who are advising Mr. Cummings that look, you have a better shot at the presidency. Do not give Mr. Bwaka the chance to be the chairperson or the senator of the CPP. So they kept misleading him, and he followed it through. And the old guys were saying, look, we're not going to allow this guy to be first. You met us here, we are going to be first. And so because of Mr. Cummings' insistence, I mean, this is what the CPP is today. Had he accepted, like someone just wrote, his best path to the presidency would have been through the vice presidency. But he gave it up. I bet you if Cummings goes alone, he's going to take maybe 4th or 5th place.
Okay, so
let me just quickly go to intermission, Moses, then we continue.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Issues Room. If it's your first time, we say welcome. We have our good old friend and brother, James Davis. He's commenting a lot. Welcome, James. Malcolm Wimoga Joseph, all the way from Liberia, I believe. Yeah. We say good evening, Malcolm. Hope you're having a great time. Summers are YG, of course. The extraordinary will always be in the house. Now we see Mrs. Comfort Abu is becoming irregular. Good evening, welcome, Comfort, out there in the Upper Darby area in Pennsylvania. US Visa, welcome to the house. Nancy Ruth Anderson, Lamine Tai, It's good to have you in here. Edwin Freeman, also, Florence Kinsley. It's good to have all of you wonderful people. Abraham Kender, we say welcome, welcome, welcome. Prince Colette Janae and D Flo Flomo the second. It's good to have you all here. Josh Sai, Leon Nabil Jr., Lionel Perkins, um, just some good people here. Abdullah Kiyatamba. Again, thanks, my brother, for stopping by. It's good to have you. Byron Brown and T. Dawkins Riches. Dawkins is out there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We say welcome, Prince. Janae, I did call your name. It's good to have you guys in the house. The Issues Room can be heard on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we broadcast everything on the contemporary issues of Liberia, the political issues, the health, the education, law and order, rule of law, just about anything. In fact, religion. And I think we'll be talking religion based on the thing that just happened the other day regarding our poor, innocent Liberians who passed these last hours. We want to welcome Fatih Fambule and Golba Zo, Prince E. Thompson Sr., and Hassan Belite. All you folks, thanks for coming into the Issues Room. I'm Volcano, Shelton, Moses Sandy, James Koiyan is one of our discussants tonight, the General, Mounir Keshen. We're discussing the current legal battle with Cummings and ALP. They're claiming witch hunting. They're claiming that they are the front runner and they're doing the government and other political parties are doing everything to stop Mr. Alexander,
Mr. Cummings.
Alexander
So
Benedict Cummings from becoming the next president in 2024. But in the
yes,
meantime,
so
Moses, you were coming in with
a
something.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to put this to both Mr. Keshen and my brother James Koiyan. The both of you gentlemen, is it a myth for the ANC folks to continue to say, well, this is a wish hunt, the current legal matter is a wish hunt? Do you think that is a myth? If it is not a myth, will you advise that the ANC folks and Mr. Cummings himself adhere to the rule of law by going through this legal process? I would like to start with you, James.
I don't want to call it a myth. Mr. Cummings has cooperated with the legal system. He has been to the court every time he was cited. But I think the ANC believe that this is their way of selling their candidate. They believe that after this case, Mr. Cummings' popularity will soar to heights that they believe will help him, will propel him to the presidency. They believe that it will give him more opportunity. Many people get to know him. Like I hear them saying when I listen to social media, oh yeah, Mr. Cummings popularity has soared. And in fact, he's doing very well because everybody now knows Cummings is a household name because of this case. Listen, that is far beyond the facts. Mr. Cummings need to continue to sell himself. The Liberian political landscape. I mean, just we are coming to power in the first place. You believe that he started from footballing. I mean, it was not always rosy for him. I mean, I work at the Liberian Football Association. I know what we went through. It was the day we lost a game. It was an insult. It was battle throwing. It was everything else against him. Liberian will always treat you like that. When you in the good book with them, they call you, But when you get on their bad side, and for Mr. Cummings, he has to continue doing what he's doing. Again, I have to continue to say, let the communication team try to do a better job. They are very poor. The communication, they made a guy who one mobile as their communication person. They call you on some talk show. He came and couldn't express himself. He could not sell the issue to the Liberian people. Let them go in Liberia and recruit some strong communication advocates to help them sell Mr. Cummings better. They are weak. They are weak in communication. Very weak. They're very weak.
What do you say to that, Mr. Kishan?
Yeah, do you
Are
agree,
you not
Money?
very weak? I see you are fighting the battle. You're all on your own.
Okay. No, as far as concerned, they are not weak. And as far as concerned, I am not weak. As far as concerned, I'm not weak. I gave the message that I know that's supposed to be out there, and I gave it very strong. So if any other person individually, you would say they are weak, I understand where you're coming from. And if I'm not I'm not closer to Mr. Cummings to say I'm on the communication team, I'm the head or whatsoever. But I know my message I giving out there is resonating. And I receive feedback from even a lot of people. So I don't want to criticize anyone when it comes to weakness or not weakness. But as far as I'm concerned, we continue to do what we're supposed to do for Mr. Cummings. We will continue to expand the message and out there. But this case is not about making Mr. Cummings popular. We all know when you hear people calling your name over and over, there's a reason they're calling your name. And two, you said something, and I will bring it back to this wonderful country that we're in. When Barack Obama decided to contest, they never said Hillary was the one who been in politics for so long, so Barack should back off. They gave them time to go through the process and let the people decide. It's not dress right dress. The age of Methuselah has nothing to do with the wisdom of Solomon. So whether Mr. Bwaka was there for 12 years, vice president, everybody will know him. Everybody, but it is the right of every Liberian to get into that race to contest. So Mr. Cummings is not selfish about that. He decided to go there. So the ANC people are behind him and other Liberians. They got a lot of people out there who support Mr. Cummings who are not members of ANC, but they support Mr. Cummings. You said something, I agree with you. There are a lot of silent supporters of Mr. Cummings. They're not talking, but they're watching, they see what's going on. But Mr. Cummings allowing the law to play, he attends all the court process. We're not going to go deep into it, but we're telling you from what we know. If a solicitor general who's supposed to be the chief prosecutor of the Republic of Liberia and will go on social media and talk about a case that you have not even started, that you have this and that and that and that, and I can prosecute Mr. Cummings, he might go to jail for 1 year, six months. And just to find out that you asking the man you want to prosecute to bring evidence against himself when you say you already got evidence, and you all over the place saying it, and for the information, that's why we say so political wish on Mr. Cummings to slow him down. We know. And the fight coming from within the CPP. But if anybody's saying that the CPP gone, there's a process for you to leave the CPP. This week, how many times they have decided they were going to announce to leave the CPP? Last week, they said we're going to announce this week. They're gone. Even the ALP they have not left the CPP yet. They must go through the process to get out. A brand name. Anybody can join the CPP. But when you get the four political leaders, according to the framework, they must agree for you to be part, any party. So if you leave, there's a room. And someone asked a question here, whether it's still going to be the same process. Mr. Cummings is not afraid to go against anyone to the primary. Mr. Cummings was the guy who was the victim here. But he said, let's go to this primary. When you win, I will support you. Let's go to the wonderful primary. When you win, you popular. You are everybody know Bwaka. But my people, politics is not about going to apply for some corporate job. You must go to the people. That's what Mr. Cummings been doing. Go to the primary. You defeat me to the primary, I will support you. If I defeat you to the primary, you support me. But no, let us decide now. No primary. You must go by me. So who really desperate? This man said, I want to be president. Why can't I want to be president? Only the people decide. Let us stop going behind closed doors and can't bring people and push them like bring people. Let
All right,
Mr. Cummings
Monet,
go. Let them answer questions.
quickly,
In fact, let them even have a debate.
let me
Let
just, let me
Liberian people
just,
ask them question. What will you do?
yeah, let me just tell our callers we're posting the number now to call. I see a lot of comments here tonight. I would like to hear from some folks. So when we post the number, please make it your duty to call. The number is 404-272-2808. The lines are open. Call in, engage our discussants and us in here in the studio. Moses?
Yeah. Let me say this, and I would like to put this to you, Mr. Keshen. There are a lot of people out there who believe that Mr. Cummings is the brain behind the crisis in the Labour Party. It is being alleged in many quarters that he created the division. He disrespected Yombi Kanga when she said, "Well, they could not host him," and yet he chose to go to the party headquarters. He's He and Mr. Belete are good friends. As a result, today, Yomble, Musa Belete, and other executives in the Liberal Party can no longer see eye to eye. Do you agree that Alexander Cummings is one of the contributing factors to the crisis in Liberal Party?
I said, Mounir, just
Money?
before you come in, let me just take this caller. Caller calling
No,
from a. Are you there, caller?
Yeah,
no.
I'm there.
All right, welcome, caller. Just hold a second. The caller from the 404 number, I'll come back to you. Let me just go back to this caller quick. And caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Good evening, welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm called James David calling from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, welcome, James. Quickly,
Yeah,
let's make a point.
my question to Mounir is this. You said
Bonnie,
that
there's a question for you. Listen, go ahead.
Mounir, my question is you said that before anybody join the CPP, the four political leaders got to agree. So my political party is a new political party, and I want to join the CPP, but all three parties finish leaving already. So what will be the fate of my party? Only come in with sign or only come in how to agree? So is it not a coming just on his own? He cannot have another group of people to join in no more because the four people got to agree according to that law. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take the next caller quick, and then we'll come back to Mounir. Caller from a 404 number. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hi, Volcano. How are you?
I'm good. Is this
Yeah, Cindy.
okay?
Cindy, the only
Yeah.
troublemaker.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Can't deal with a general small.
She has supporter.
Let me say thank you to all of you and Mr. Cindy. Thank
Yeah,
you.
welcome,
I think he's doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
And the gentleman there also. So let's have a quick talk here. We're saying, oh, ANC communication is doing a bad job. Can we raise the volume? Yes. Bad job? No. We are the newest kid on the block, or ANC is the newest kid on the block. See at the speed that ANC is growing. And the ANC has literally become a threat to the establishment. And the establishment is very afraid. Maybe we're used to doing stuff the same way, and that's what we've done that for 174 years. And those things have not changed Liberia. And we are bringing new idea. You are on Facebook. Facebook Live did not exist in 2014. You are here. We took a different approach. There was no what do you call it? Internet, okay? Google Earth, or what you're watching today that you dream of Google, didn't exist in 1989. All right. So if we say we are the change, we have to do different things differently. We are not going to be lying on people and the quiet propaganda because we're used to lying. Those are not the things we're going to do. Yes, maybe Mova went on a show one time a day, but he's a very eloquent, well-educated, well-balanced young man, okay, and contributing to the Liberian society. And I think he's a great addition to the organization as the ANC. So we think Mr. Cummings is doing what he's supposed to do. That most people who have put their hands up before, put their names in their hat before, I've never done my lifetime, and I'm in my 50s, right? Yeah. We have never had a person who come to the scene and say, I want to be president, who have traveled the length and breadth of Liberia. Every candidate, one, some of them two, some of them three times, every valley, every little place, and they even stop in big town for the little time and tell to everyone, you are Liberian and you matter, and we will do the job. We've never had it. Even some presidents have come to power.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, we lost her.
No,
yeah,
I
she
didn't
can.
lose her.
Oh, you have her?
Not what you know. Okay? Right. Volcano, where was that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, we're seeing something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we're literally taking a different approach that somebody like me, who were part of the Obama campaign here in the 2006, 2007, 2008, right? We took a different approach. The traditional approach, all right? We went to every door, market and register people. We went in ghetto and told them the value of the vote, what is meant. Even people in this country who were educated, they thought the vote didn't matter. We start there and make time to explain to them what the electoral college means, why they must vote, Why is window carry off? This is what we are doing. That's the approach that Mr. Cummings has taken. He's taking a different approach, not the one that most people are accustomed to. All right. If we must change Liberia, we must change it, not just in the a physical stand. We have to change it emotionally. We have to change it morally. We have to change it ethically, and we have to change it the way and model those behavior so the people can know that there's a different kid on the block.
So,
It's not business as usual.
Mrs. Quaye, are you willing?
Yes.
Are you willing to bring Mr. Cummings here in the issues room?
Oh, we can.
All right.
We can. Yes.
All right. Let's
Yes,
work on that. It's
And I hope
important to
I
have
can be here to tell him that it is. I mean,
listen. No
James.
place is too. Nowhere is too far. Nowhere is too. No crowd is too small. If you are a Liberian, you have a platform. If you are a Liberian, you have a room that you want for Mr. Cummings to meet and talk. That's what he does. He will approach you. He will engage you. And yes, he will come. We just got to make the schedule for him to be available for him to come. Yeah, we can work on it.
All
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Let me take this caller quick. There's another call on the line. Thanks for
Go
coming.
ahead.
Through.
Thank you.
We appreciate your
Okay.
time. Let me take the caller quick from 612 number. Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. How are you?
Yeah, welcome. Your name?
Oh, this is Ben calling from Minnesota. How are you?
It's good. It's good. We're doing great
Good.
here. Thanks for
Yeah.
calling.
All right.
Quickly, just hang on. Let me tell this other caller to hold. The caller from a 339 number. I'll come back to you. Please hold, caller. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay, so I just want to respond to the first caller who asked a
The
question.
caller is calling again. One more second. Caller from the 339 number. Please hold. I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to respond to the first caller that called. I was concerned about the other three parties leaving and what will become of Mr. Cummings, even
We are listening to you. Go ahead.
No, Moses. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
when you are renting or when you sign a deal with 4 or 5 persons and 3 other people decides to walk away from the deal and you still in the deal, it's just like a house rent. You who stays and you who pays, you still have rights to do whatever you want to do with that apartment at the time. So when the other people leave, even though as far as I'm concerned, they are still part, but when they should have left, Mr. Cummings has the right to bring whoever he wants to bring, because at that point in time, he will be the only authority there. There will be nobody else. Even though the document will still say, like the other 3 persons, all 4 has to agree. There is no more 4 because the other 3 had already left. So that is the answer to that question. Thank you.
Thank you. The caller was persistent. I told him to hold and then to keep calling back. Here's another caller calling from a 1661 number. Caller, are you there? The caller from a 1661 number 310. The caller from a 3309. Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. Are you from the 3309 number?
Yes, I'm the 3309 612.
Yeah. You've been calling back to back. I kept telling you hold. All right. Go ahead. Make your contribution. Your name and where you calling from.
Is it Volcano I'm speaking with?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me say thank you so much for still being a voice.
Thank
I
you.
remember back in those days when I used to come from school, hungry, trying to find food to eat.
So you want me
Maintenant, represent you as a very old man.
Hungry, trying to find food to eat, and you want the radio playing out. You say, man, they got gave you hungry.
They made a old man. They made really old.
Thank you so much for still having your voice. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank gentlemen for also having the time to come on here.
Okay.
And taking advantage of this.
Hold 1 second. Let me tell this caller to hold. The caller from a 5066 number, please hold. I'll come back to you. 5066, please hold. I'll come back to you, caller. All right. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, and thanks so much, gentlemen, for coming on here and taking advantage of the opportunity so we can discuss the issue as it relates to our country. By the way, my name is Prince Williams, and I'm calling from Tennessee, the volunteer state.
Okay.
As I sit here and I listen to all sides, and as we discuss the issue, I must say that we for those of us we are privileged to have the opportunity to have to have certain degree of understanding. We should be honest and fair to ourselves and to the issue as it is. You know, when a patient comes to you from a medical perspective and has a sickness, as a doctor, whatever you try to do is that you try to see if you can diagnose that problem, and then from there, after diagnosis, you give a treatment plan or perhaps get a prognosis. We all here, and all panelists here, we know that our country is sick, has been sick for a very long time. We know the problem. Perhaps if you don't know,
sick, I say rotting now, where everything
and there you go. You see your prognosis is just given. I don't know if it's a diagnosis or prognosis. Yeah. So now, if we would sit here and try to rationalize, mesmerize, sensationalize the same problem in our country that have existed and persisted for years, it is unfortunate. I hear a man asking the question, "Oh, Cummings is have an ego. Why Cummings can go as a vice president of Barca?" I mean, are you really serious? For real? Do you have a understanding of the genesis of this whole collaboration? Why it wasn't a coalition rather than a collaboration? By the way, I heard you made a statement that it was a Barca's idea. No, it was Charles Walker Bronsky who called them to the table, conceived this idea from the fight they had, the legal battle they had regarding the election. Charles Walker Bronsky called them to the table. But it's another time. Perhaps one day I will come on the show. We'll go detail. But what I want to say in conclusion, so other people can have the time to come on here. Look, let's be honest to our country. Our country is sick. A lot of things going on there. Yeah, you may say it's not political witch hunt. If you conjugate, if you conjure a case, you bring it against an individual that has no legal magnitude, a case that is a second-degree misdemeanor, the government take the case. I hate to say is a case of treason. The government what his name, Solicitor General will come on a public radio and say that he had all evidence to adjudicate the case and to find the accused guilty. And today he's telling the defendant to bring evidence against himself.
Okay.
Yeah, so that he can prosecute the defendant, which is a gross violation of the Constitution. The Constitution says nobody will be forced to provide evidence that will incriminate them. Look, I think what Cummings lawyer needs to do to put this thing to bear, so that we who are intellectual can take this thing as a talking point, so we can, try to see how intellectual we are and try to play with this thing. Let's stick to the point. Cummings lawyer should file a motion to dismiss this case, and then not only file a motion to dismiss the case, take a lawsuit against the Liberian government to the Supreme Court for violation of the Constitution that says the right of speedy trial. This case should be tried. It should be tried. You come in if you can provide even prima facie evidence. Prima facie evidence is the court takes prima facie evidence, so the court they can be allowed for the person to be going through and investigated deeply, and evidence can be shown. Coming lawyer went and say, you know what? Y'all say y'all got evidence, right? According to the rule of court, it's discovery time. You give me your evidence. I present what you have to give your evidence to the defendant. You can't keep it in your pocket and say, "We'll go to court." Then I will just flash it to the person. That is a violation of the court proceeding.
Thank you.
Cummings lawyer asked for the evidence. They said they want 5 days. 5 days they come back.
We'll send your credential to Cummings legal team so you can join the team. What do you think?
Oh well, I can consult with them, and I'm a student of jurisprudence. I study every night about jurisprudence, which is the foundation of law. Yeah. So I can advise them. I mean, and tell them what to do. This thing is witch hunt. This thing is a political witch hunt. The government is taking advantage of the disunity within the CPP. And look, and anybody think that the CPP will not hold, then perhaps you have not read the CPP document. The CPP document is fashioned in a way that it is not an agreement with individuals. It's an agreement with institution. Yeah, the individual came together, but they signed for on behalf of the institution. So if any institution should have left the CPP, the SA clause states in a way that they can go, that individual can go, but the institution will stay. Okay. And the institution have a 1 year binding agreement to 2020, after 2023 election, that institution is free. So if Unity Party should decide to go and form the coup, what they call coalition or Unity Party, they call themselves coup, You can find it. You can find a new party, but Unity Party will stay, and the faction that is in Unity Party will remain, and the see people will be open up to welcoming other political party, and we will be able to have a process that the people, Liberian people voice will be represented, because to say that Cummings should go as a VP because the what Joseph Parker want, or the what Henry Costa want, or the what and Bernard Ure want, is a violation of the democratic process and the suppression of the voice of the people, and also trying to segregate the aspiration of the Liberian people, we delegitimize Ure first document he brought that led to the lawyer getting involved to restructure it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate it. Monish Keshen, keep up the good work. You're doing very good. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next caller. Caller, thanks for being patient. 5066-281.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, welcome. Your name?
Welcome. My name is Quincy. I'm calling from Texas.
Yeah, make your point.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for your show, and I will be very brief. I think the last caller said it all. This case is a political witch hunt, and everybody knows it, and the Liberian people knows it. And so we're seeing what is happening. And, it's so sad.
Caller, just hold 1 second. Let me just tell this caller. The caller from a 3535, please hold. I'll come back to you. Go ahead, caller. 5066.
It is so sad because Mr. Cummings is a new person on the block, okay? This country is being in existence since 1847, and the system has failed our country, okay? And because Mr. Cummings is up against a failed system, the system is fighting back, and we're seeing it. The system is so rotten and corrupt in that country, it only favor few people in the family, and the rest of the other people suffer. And that's what Mr. Cummings is up against. And because he is not ready to play ball with them, so they are all trying to gang up against him. It's very ironic to see people who was old enemy before now are allies against Mr. Cummings in court. What they tell you? They tell you that these people are threatened by Mr. Cummings because they know there will be no business as usual, and they feel threatened. They feel threatened for their existence, so now they are fighting back. They're using everything.
Thank you.
When you see people, yes, thank you.
Let me take the next caller quick. All right, caller. The caller from a 3535 704. Hello, caller. Caller, are you there? 704 3535. All right.
Yeah,
Caller,
but Volcano, let me just provide a little bit of clarification here. I had the opportunity of listening to the Solicitor General when he appeared on Spawn TV.
Just hold the comment quick. The caller is calling back. Let's
Sure.
just take the caller incoming. Caller 3535.
Yeah, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Edwin Freeman, and I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Good evening. Welcome to the program. What's your perspective?
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank the panelists for a wonderful discussion.
Just hold 1 second. Just hold 1 second. Let me tell this caller. Caller from a 3356 will come back to you. Please hold. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, as I said earlier, thank the panelists for a wonderful discussion on the review. What I wanted to say is, like, a lot of us that sit in the United States, we read the missing the boat in Liberia. We fail to know that Liberia is the country that we have over 65% illiteracy rate. And most time people come, we sit on this platform, we try to compare the American system with that of Liberia. First of all, Mr. Cummings, I like him. He's a very great guy. But I think Mr. Cummings is missing the boat in trying to get to the presidency. At times in politics, you have to take detour to find a way out to the top.
Are you seeing that Mr. Cummings? Hold on. You seen that Mr. Cummings should ride a canoe to get to the presidency? Say he missed the boat?
No, most times it's like you have to take a detour. You have to take, sometimes you have to take a longer path, and that longer path will take you. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening.
It's another. I lost that caller.
Oh,
the caller
man.
from 3356. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Make your point quick. Welcome. Make your point.
All right. Thank you. Let me just thank your panelists in studio. My name is Prince Sharif. I want to use this time to, first of all, thank Mr. Alexander Cummings for the fact that he can be able to, subscribe to the law of Liberia. I think it speaks volume relative to our democracy. While it is true that there are challenges in every sector, but for the fact that he can be able to, use the process to exonerate himself from whatever allegation that is levied against him, this is a sign for every one of us to be excited of. That yes, indeed, the law is at work. Now, the second thing that I want to say here before I drop this line, I listened to phonetics of Mr. Cummings trying to tie the government hand around this particular issue. And I think it is unfortunate because it's like someone is saying that when there are issues, whether be a political institution or whatever institution it is, that government must sit supinely and allow people to be able to vent their anger out of the law, which I think it is unfortunate for anybody to make that particular, exception or to even think about that. The government is charged with the responsibility of protecting the rights of every individual, whether be a Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ure, Joe Bweka, or whoever. And that's just what the government is doing in order to be able to make sure that everybody is satisfied in the process. So what I think we can do, especially people who are with Mr. Alexander Cummings or with Benina Ure, is to make sure that they continue to tell their followers or continue to tell people that we must all look at this process, employ the best legal mind that we can employ, so that at the end of the day, we all can go to the court and let the court be able to do its work. But I want to sit down and assume or presume that the government has its hands in it because it is with Alexander Cummings, because Ure is involved. I think it's unfortunate, and especially those of us in the United States that know the law or that are supposed to know better. And we are trying to, pull the government into this, knowing very well that this is a criminal case, and by law, it is the government that will be able to prosecute any case of such. For us to turn it around, I think it is unfortunate.
So, my brother, just before you go, what if
Yes, sir.
so we understand the government has this role to play, but what if it's to the advantage of the government and the government seizes this opportunity?
You see, my brother, for one to sit and say this is at the advantage of the government, the first thing is let's look at the individual's concern. Let's look at Mr. Ure. Let's look at
caller. Let me just
Mr. Cummings.
Hold caller. The caller from a 9945. Please hold. I'll come back to you. I'll come right back to you.
In the Joseph Bweka, none of them are any political threat. You can judge from the results of the 2017 election, 2018 election. So they are not threat. For someone to sit and say it is an advantage to this government. Look, as an individual, and I speak to you, let me just put a kind of title to me. I speak to you as the Deputy Secretary General of the CDC USA. I can tell you for sure, sir, that none of these people pose a threat, political threat, at the ballot box towards the CDC. The results are there. You saw the results of Mr. Cummings. You know what Benin Ayure, acquired from elections that we have held. So none of these people are politically, charged to be able to stand the might.
So you know what we should do? Let's communicate off the record and then bring you in here so you can make the case.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
You're the Deputy Secretary General. We've been looking for the real CDC people. Now you're in hierarchy. So we want to bring you back so you make the case.
Come and talk to the issues room crew
and I
about
want to give an invitation to my big brother, Keshen, the general himself.
Okay.
Big brother, they are just looking at him.
All right. Let me take this caller quick. And then we'll come back to the panel. Thank you so much.
All right.
Gentlemen, let me take this last call. We'll come back to you guys.
Expect my call.
The caller from 9945. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? The caller from 9945.
Yes, I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry for the wait. Liberian people are talking plenty, So
Yeah,
it's good to have you in. Come in. Tell us what was your name, where you calling from, and your contribution.
let me appreciate you guys for the show. Thanks for the show.
This line is on fire. Hold 1 second,
Yeah.
caller. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
The caller from Alberta, I guess it's Canada. Just hold. I'll come back to you. Go ahead, caller. Make your point.
Yeah, I was saying thanks for the show. It's good for all the talk than us sweating and more. I was saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good for the talk. So I just want to tell, I don't know, the general Mounir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yeah, Mounir.
Yeah, the notion that the CPP is together, that he's still pushing, I don't know what he's thinking about. He's still pushing that notion. The CPP is no longer together. We know. It is not hiding from us more, or we don't even know about politics. We got no interest in politics, but we know that they are not together. So you can't come out here and want us to believe that the CPP is together. Mr. Boaka and
the people went on vacation. The man said it. They went on vacation. They'll come back.
Yeah, I think they will come back after 2023. After 2023, they will come back. And let me tell you, look, maybe you guys that discuss issue when it comes to politics, maybe you guys will like to agree with me on this. But from 2017, since Mr. Alexander Cummings refused to support the Joseph Boaka camp, there will be no way that House supporter Joseph Boaka support Alexander Cummings. When even election go to second round, then the general can always be saying that anybody go to second round with the leading party, the ruling party, everybody will support the opposition party. That notion is wrong.
Okay.
Africa, especially Liberia, when election go to second round, the ruling establishment get more power to convince people on the side.
Yeah. Thank you. Let me take this caller from Canada.
So that notion is wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
The caller calling from 5053 Alberta.
Yes.
That's Canada, right?
Correct.
Good. Welcome to the show. Your name and your contribution.
Yeah, my name is Lawrence Flockier. I'm from Edmonton, Canada. Thanks for the opportunity. I just wanted to comment on a few things. The first thing is, one of the panel, I don't know whether his name is James or something.
James Koiyan, yeah.
Yeah, this is what I don't like about Liberian politics. It's all about deceptions and lies, and we can't build our country based on deceptions. We got to be truthful, to our people. And we in the West, I believe you're in the States, I'm in Canada, and we know what the Western system is built on, to assert that, the dissolution of the CPP is based on Mr. Cummings' refusal to be vice president. It's a deception. It's a disservice to your listeners.
Okay.
Because in a CPP agreement, in fact, there is no arrangement as to who becomes the only legality is that the candidate select a vice presidential candidate from a party that it doesn't belong to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no obligation on any of the candidates to select a particular individual as a vice presidential candidate. That's not even a factor. The issue is that you have to negotiate and form a consensus as to who becomes the candidate, the standard bearer. Okay. It's only the standard bearer, not even a vice standard bearer. That's an agreement. And if you don't have a consensus, you do a voter perception survey that informs, the executive to go and vote. So there's nothing like.
You say you have
there is.
So what's the next point? So you had a few.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next point is just I think one of your callers just deceived your audience as well. He said Mr. Uri performed better than Mr. Cummings during the last election, and then you're inviting him to your platform as a CDC executive in the States. I mean, and that's not true. So you got to fact check him right away and say, "Oh no, you're wrong, Mr. Euler didn't do that. I mean, you were going for 25 or less than 30,000
No,
votes."
I don't think
Cummings
that's what
don't-
he. I don't think that's what he said. I think he was saying
Yeah,
something about no candidate.
He said came closer
against
to the
I know.
CDC. Yeah.
Well, you were
no.
exactly. Oh, don't worry about that one. Yeah, just leave
Yeah,
that
I
one.
understand
Continue.
that.
Yeah, just leave that one. Only you
Yeah, maybe I'm making a mistake, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's my understanding, and that's what I thought he said. So you can go back on the tape and review it, so they can make that correction before he comes on your platform, right?
All right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that let me just and just know other people have to call.
Yeah.
We have to be truthful.
Honestly.
So even if I'm a Cummings candidate, I can't come and say, "Oh, Cummings got the highest vote the last election," or Cummings the most popular candidate today. You get what I mean? We gotta be truthful, and when we're speaking facts, we gotta speak for the facts. But the deception in our politics is so terrible. I
mean, politics in itself has a lot of deception, even here in the U.S. Anywhere,
I live in Canada. I live in the U.S. Liberia deception.
They play the deception to their advantage. So thanks for calling.
To their advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Spread the word of the issues room. Be a fan. All right. Call back.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Gentlemen, let's come back, man. Listen, now was hot.
So
that was a caller segment, and we wanted to give them the opportunity. Moses, you were laying some pretty.
Yeah. I just wanted to provide this clarification. When Mr. Seaforth, the Solicitor General, when he appeared on Spawn TV, he did say that the ALP in its allegation, from his own assessment of document, it shows that the ALP has cogent evidence. That was his statement, meaning that they had some logical arguments that they were making.
But then why then this whole case is being dragged? If they have all these cogent evidence to provide.
But Volcano, this is a legal matter. It takes time. And again, there are people who are saying, "Oh, well, there is an issue that should not be handled by government." No. Forgery. Don't forget, Mr. Cummings is in court, and Mr. Cummings and the other are in court for alleged forgery. Forgery is a criminal. It's a criminal charge.
Okay.
So that means that the ALP is not prosecuting Mr. Cummings. It becomes a legal matter now. It is the ALC that filed the lawsuit, but the lawsuit, it has elevated to a criminal charge, and in criminal matters, they still represent, they still becomes the prosecutor in the process. That's why the Solicitor General and the Ministry of Justice, that's why they are involved. We need to understand that. That is not a civil matter. It's not between Bernard Ure as an individual and Alexander Cummings as an individual. This is a criminal matter. I'm not a lawyer. I'm only speaking on the surface. So that's the point the Solicitor General is making.
Let me take this caller quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, caller from 9634.
Yeah. Hello, guys. How are you guys doing?
Well, great. Welcome to the issues room. Your contribution.
Good. So I have a question for you guys.
All of us?
All of you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and here is my question. If this case is about signature forging, so Mr. Ure is saying his signature was forged on the original document that was sent to NEC. Here is my question to you guys. If the government brought in expert witness to identify the signature, and he looked at the signature that Mr. Ure said was forged, would there be any difference?
What is your question? I'm having difficulty.
So my question is, so when
you say, let me see if I understood you. You said if the government brings expert witness, right?
Yes,
and
because
they identify the signature and say yes, this signature was forged.
Yes,
that's your question, right? I understand.
Moses. Yeah.
So because
Caller, just hold. I mean, just hold.
Yeah. Quick. Okay. So the gentleman asked a very simple question.
Come in, Moses.
Volcano.
Come in.
Yeah.
Caller, you still there?
I'm still here.
You were the one who asked the question?
No, this
Okay.
is Conor Gray.
Okay,
Conor
just
Gray
hang on.
wants
I'll
to,
come back to you. I'll come back to you, Conor Gray. I'll come
Okay.
back to you. Yeah, so caller.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
let's do this quick.
All right, yeah, I want to do it very fast.
Yeah.
Because I am looking at the technicality where this case can be thrown out at the on number one, because the signature that Mr. Ure is talking about, it is his own signature.
Okay.
But he is only saying that signature was taken and placed on another document.
That's the argument.
That signature was not forged. Technicality, the Cummings team should tell the lawyer, because the expert witness will look at Mr. Ure and then compare the two signatures. And when they compare the two signatures, they will be exactly Mr. Ure's own signature. How can that be forgery?
And Volcano, let me help the caller a little bit.
You come from the perspective, if I had a signature document that I already signed my signature, and that document was photocopied.
Yeah,
I mean, people do all kinds of things. Listen, Eddie can take your head and put it on Donald Trump and say that
Trump,
right, man.
Yeah,
So let me that one. Let me bring the next caller.
No. Look, in court proceeding, you are looking at the technicalities and the wording.
Yeah, but look, wait. Let me help you quickly. Let me.
Okay. Let you ask the question. Let Moses come in.
Yeah, let me help you quickly.
Yes, sir. Caller, you ask the question. Let Moses come in.
Let me help you quickly. The contention being raised by Mr. Cummings and the ALP, they are not contending that the signature on the document is not Mr. Cummings' signature.
You mean Mr. Ure's signature?
Mr. Ure, yeah, Mr. Ure's signature. The ALP is not arguing that the signature is not Mr. Ure's signature. They are saying that Mr. Ure and the others previously signed a document. They signed a framework document, and that document was later altered without the authorization. And when the authorization was made, they took a copy of the previous signature page and attached it to the new document and submitted saying to the NEC. That is the argument from Mr. Ure. That is the argument from the ALP.
I read the court papers.
Okay, so let's move forward.
The court paper is about. Look, I am looking at the technicality. Look, in court, a simple word, the way how you file your case, the judge can dismiss the case, or you can go and refile. If you say someone forged your signature, it means that someone.
That's forgery, sir. It is forgery. If you sign a document in December of 2020 and somebody puts out a document now, that's forgery.
Listen, all of us here will be speculating. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
That's the argument the guys are making. Yeah.
So let's wait and see what comes up. Your question was, if the signature was forged, some expert would know if the signature was forged.
Right.
So then let's wait until the experts decides that. Okay, let me take the next caller. Thank you so much for your points. We appreciate your time in the studio with us. Conor Gray, are you still there?
I'm still here, man.
Thanks for your patience, man. Remy Gray, welcome to the Issues Room.
Okay, Mr. Shelton, how are you today?
Man, we hanging in there. Cold weather, that's all.
We're going down.
I know it is cold. It's colder here, man. You know, I live in Minnesota, so. But I have a question about civil procedure in our legal system. And to the best of my recollection and from what I was told in law school, when
you say you have a question, I mean, you asking me, I'm not a lawyer, or you the lawyer. So say I have a statement to make, a clarification. Go ahead.
Yes, to the best of my recollection, when a case hits the city court, I think it's not the Solicitor General that represents the government, rather it's the city solicitor. So because that's below the level of the Solicitor General.
Okay.
Because it's not an upper court; it's just a magisterial court, and so therefore the individual who should have represented the interest of the state should have been the city solicitor. I could be wrong. So that's the question I'm throwing out there. I hear folks say that the government has interest by extension of this being a criminal matter. Okay, and I just wanted to throw light in that, just in case anybody has anything to the contrary. I stand by to
be
learn
corrected.
from the process. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I
Thank
think
you,
that's a very good point.
Yeah,
That's a
thank
very
you.
good
Agree.
point. So
Agree.
let you hear from James.
I am not a lawyer, but the SG is the chief government prosecutor. So any criminal case, he can choose to send either the city solicitor or send a team of legal experts to go and adjudicate the case. And that's my personal opinion.
Or he can take the case.
Yeah, he can take the case.
So you know what it reminds me of, Moses?
No.
The FBS Director General taking over the interview because
Yeah.
he won't get
Yeah, he won't get no
Don't tell
he want the president to
you
eat the cattle.
no, you know, okay.
So look, man,
So-
my man, I must have what's wrong with this one.
Yeah. So I wanted to
Yeah.
piggyback on something Yasendi said in reference to my criticism of the
Okay.
communication mechanism of the ANC.
Of the ANC.
Yeah.
There is a psycholinguistic strategy that is missing from the ANC. She said they are loud talking, but they are only loud talking without any strategy. Free advice for you, Moni, and the team of communication professionals that the ANC has. If you want to make your case known, you need to redesign and re-engineer the strategy for communicating with the Liberian people. There is this Taron linguistic, Taron's, how do you call it, Taron interactional relationship that you exhibit in communicating, or you will use the psycholinguistic communication strategy to deal with these elements and with these people who you consider your partisans. I think they are not getting the real story. The loud talking is from cities from ANC USA. Or in Liberia, ANC Liberia, you hardly hear from them. All of the guys who should be communicating, they go into the studio. I meticulously tune into most of the online radios from Liberia. ANC people go there, they are unable to articulate the issue. Loud talking is okay, but if you're not articulating the facts or the issues that will sell your candidate, that's just a major flaw. And the previous communicator spoke from Canada. I think he's now following the case. Again, this is politics. I said, in my opinion, her Cummings accepted to go, with a compromise. Look, come and be VP to Waka and let's move on. Perhaps we wouldn't have been here, But again, everyone had their own ego. Mr. Cummings wants to be president. Mr. Waka surrogate wants him to be president. Mr. Waka, in my opinion, is tired. Let me borrow from Donald Trump, quote unquote. He is tired. He's not ready, to take over this opportunity to be president of Liberia. He has a solution, in my opinion. But the person that has the current solution right now is President Weah. I think President Weah is pushing that line. He may not be to the liking of many, but the development agenda, in my opinion, it makes far difference. Someone talk about why the government is not doing much to deal with some of these criminal gangs in the country. Look, even the government officials have said it. Some government officials said it. The drug in our country is creating more issues than you think. It's just wayward kids. If the government don't invest more in rehabilitating what you call disadvantaged youth, or we call them zogos, this problem, we are sitting on pins and needles, and anytime you step on it, it's going to be dangerous for our population. The government has to invest a lot of money in rehabilitating, start to prosecute those who are importing drugs, and then even punish those who are taking the drugs. That's the only way we can arrest some of this situation. But if you got more people importing drugs in Liberia, no control. The DEA is another weak government agency that is there not doing much to arrest this situation. Some of their DEA officials are even involved with drug trafficking. But this is Liberia.
Moses,
Yeah.
and I wanted to come quick. Just a bit.
Go ahead.
You said something, and you said
Yeah.
something that is important.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, this is the house, and the house now is infested with ants everywhere.
Yeah, it's a bad
But there's
balls
a
all over
little
the place.
there's a little tunnel. Those ants are coming in from the outside.
Mhm.
So what we first do, we seal the outside
Yeah.
where the ants are coming from, and then we treat the inside. The problem is our borders are weak. We don't pay. I mean, listen, we mismanaged the salaries of people. Why will you be what do you call it, harmonizing salaries of the people at the border, at the airport, at the seaport, when those are important places, but you don't harmonize the senator who sit down in there all day, the stomach big.
Volcano, I
And
disagree with you though.
what are you disagreeing for?
Because listen,
Maybe give,
pay,
maybe
pay a
give.
typical Liberian man, I mean, the higher salary, they will still do the same
I
old
agree,
thing.
but it starts
It
from
says
It's just
somewhere.
we're not nationalistic. Liberians are just not
no,
nationalistic most of the
no.
time.
Because the fear here is that our borders are weak, and you just talked about it. The drugs are coming from Nigeria. The drugs
Can
are
I
coming,
come into this?
all over the place. So it's not internally we should be looking at yet. We should be able to seal the borders to stop it from coming in. Then we address the internal. That was why I made the analogy with the ants in the house. Close the tunnel the ants are coming from. Then you
Start
treat the
working
ants
from
in the house.
inside. Yeah.
Come in, Moses.
No, let money go.
Yeah,
Money.
you come
Yeah.
in. And I like the point you made. It's a
Yeah.
serious problem.
It's a
Yeah,
serious issue.
go ahead, money.
Okay, let me just speak on it. Yeah. And, and, and thanks that Koiyan saying that he's a sedition and he's saying the truth. The fact of the matter is, all these things boil down to leadership,
That's true.
Lord.
law and order. You know, for Liberia's setting, the president has a lot of power to do whatsoever.
He's not
The
everywhere
power
though.
is with the president, not even the legislature, because the executive implements whatever the legislature. Eh?
You go
What you
ahead, go
say?
ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are listening to
Yeah.
you.
I said, well, first of all, let me correct
No,
you
I'm
here.
I, I, I,
Mounir,
I'm I'm
Mounir,
listening to what you just said.
Mounir,
So at the end
Mounir,
of the day,
Mr. General, when you own your own setting,
yeah,
when you own your own setting, you
yes.
can be correct. But you can't watch show the net, you just pausing whatever internet you're using at Metro PCS. We're having a lot of
But I don't know what's going.
He's,
I don't
he's
know
Go
what's
ahead.
going on. Maybe
Go
that
ahead.
your I don't know.
Go ahead.
And you guys are freezing up on me too.
No.
I don't
You
know.
got us
It looks like it's delaying.
now
That's
only
the problem. I
ANC
don't know what's going
freezing.
on. To be
Now
fair, I
only
don't know.
ANC freezing tonight.
And,
You look at
yeah,
the
my network
CDC,
is
man.
there, but I
The
don't know what's
CDC,
going
man.
on.
The
I don't know.
CDC, man, is in top shape. Only ANC
I
freezing.
think
some of them are government operation.
Yeah. No, my man, without wage hunting here. Go ahead.
okay, look. Okay, listen. No, let me go out and come back in. I
No,
think
you're
it'll be
okay. Go
maybe
ahead.
Okay,
You're
my man,
okay.
we
We
because
need
I
to
know
listen
wrap
to you.
up.
You're okay.
it's
Yeah,
We
you're
something
got
okay.
that
Go
only
ahead.
something not right.
we got only 9 minutes more to
9
go.
minutes
Yeah,
before
you're
Miller wrap
okay.
up.
Yeah,
2
you're
hours.
okay. Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, because I know. Okay, so we all agree that listen, the government must stand strong against these guys that are going through these things. I saw a little girl on Facebook the other day. They stabbed her in the hand and they took her phone.
Yeah.
The government need to stand strong. The government need to stop drugs from coming into the country. We need to work on that first, no matter what happens. Look, you go to the airport, you see drugs coming. You go to look at tour border, you see drugs coming in. The government need to stand strong. The president need to come down hard. In Liberia, if the leader don't speak, all kinds of things will happen. So, Queen, I disagree with you. No matter how you pay them, no, you can pay them right. But when they know that the president do not joke, it's zero tolerance when it comes to corruption and stealing, people will follow suit. When you tell people that if we catch you with drugs and you will go to jail for 20 years, people will still try to smuggle drugs in. They know the consequences. In this place in South Africa, it's 20 years if they catch you with piece of diamond. But people still smuggle diamond, but when they grab you, it's 20 years. So pass that law, 20 years for drugs dealer, you will see people start to slow down. But our children are taking the drugs at the same time they're going around stealing, killing, and doing whatsoever, and government is not doing anything. They must go, look, they got to go after the children hard. Tough love, we got to show them. But it's on the government. It's not. That's not the opposition. The opposition don't run the government. The opposition don't make appointments. They don't collect taxes. It's the
Don't want to say that
government
either.
responsibilities to do all these things. So what we can talk about the opposition, but the government is not doing what it's supposed to do. The government is in charge. They must take responsibility of everything that go in the country. Law and order should be number one priority of any government. If you can't discipline your kids home, nobody going to discipline them for you.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you're right, and that's why Thomas Awaji just said it here right now. You know, the Asian countries, they have death penalty when it comes to drug smuggling. The people know when they go to places like Philippines and what they call Thailand and stuff. They don't play with them.
Yeah.
But Liberia, they just wink about it, and that was a whole nother conversation because this thing is serious and it's scary, Moses. I mean,
yeah.
you know, for people to just get up, go to a place with knives and go and start stabbing people, and it becomes a stampede, people fighting
Yeah.
for their lives.
And that's what happened
And,
in
and,
Nuku
and listen,
Town.
this is not even out of town. This is
Mhm.
right in Nuku Town,
Nuku Town.
right in
Nuku
Monrovia.
Town. You know,
But
it
anyway,
is.
gentlemen, we're
Volcano,
running
do,
out
do,
of time. Let's
do
wrap
we have the
let's
real
wrap
story
this
about
up.
the
Yeah,
nuclear episode?
Come
yes, we
again?
did. I read something about it. I watched a couple of videos, and from what I gathered is that the whole crisis started when a
Moses,
security. Yes,
Moses, we coming with
yes.
this conversation on
Oh,
Tuesday.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
Let's focus
just
here
quickly,
and,
let
and
me
wrap
just
this
tell
up.
you that
Yeah.
at Zogo, a conflict erupted between one Zogo and a security guard to the pastor because this Zogo took something from one of the crusaders that went out there, and so the security person tried to contain the situation. Things got out of control. The Zogos came back and they just took control of the whole place. Pandemonium broke out, and there was a stampede. People died in the numbers. So you said that well, people say the government. Yes, the government has to step up to the place. James, I know your CDC government, but the government has to step up to the place. The Drug Enforcement Agency operational budget is less than 500,000 US dollars. So you tell me you have an agency that is going against what? Hiding criminals, and you are underfunding that agency.
And
Why
but
do you think there's problem?
Moses, not even
Yeah.
if the drug budget for the DEA is 500,000.
Yes,
The drugs that they're bringing in are in the
it's more than
millions. In the millions.
in the
So,
millions.
so what's the counterpoint
Yeah,
here? You know,
it doesn't add up.
no, it
Go
doesn't.
ahead, Volcano.
Yeah, but gentlemen, thanks so much again this evening. I thought it was good conversation. We had a lot of folks coming in here tonight to
It was.
to be a part of the conversation. When it
It
comes to Liberian politics, we have the audience. But when it comes to the other things that we want to talk about, that is, you know,
Then
very
people look the
pertinent,
other way. Yeah.
they don't want to come in, they don't want to comment, and they sit behind the scene. Liberian politics is just it. But Mounir, it was good having you. Your
was
final
good.
word, quick, a minute.
Mr. Keshen.
I may get pillars from
Yes. Okay. I want to say thanks to Koiyan. Thanks to you guys. Thanks very much
You see, James,
for
you see, money, James
Moses,
speaking.
allowing me on your platform. But I want to tell my people here, the Liberians,
Yeah.
I want to tell the Liberian people here one thing, that open your eyes, look at your candidates. It is your right to ask them questions. It is time we ask questions that will take us into the 21st century. Let us stop asking questions that ain't make no sense, that will not put food on our table. But we want candidate, one man that Liberians are fighting, other Liberians, corrupt politicians are fighting today. He's Alexander Cummings. He's the only man who knows the problem of Liberia and can solve it, because he's going around taking notes and asking questions. Politics is not a religion, it's not whatsoever. It's up to you. The power, the decision is in your hands. So make the best decision for Liberia come 2022. But I want to send this message to the seditionists. Look, you have the time to govern. Do it best. If you would do it best and give us hard time, or if the Liberian people vote for you, fine, no problem. But we want Liberia to move forward. But if you continue the way you continue, you can even paint the sky with the corruption, they will defeat you come 2023, no matter what happens. So you can, if you think corruption will be legalized and drugs legalized in Liberia, and you can just pave one less street and we accept it, no, the responsibility of the president, he must do his job. We voted for him to do his job, but let him put the Liberian people first. That is why I'm behind Mr. Cummings, because I know that Mr. Cummings' first priority is law and order in Liberia and how to create jobs and how to bring Liberians together. And
Thank you.
every Liberian will have the right under the law to work in the Cummings administration. So I want to
Thank
say
you.
thank you very much. And
Thank
we
you, sir.
continue, we'll remain on the trail and give the message.
Thank you. James, quick.
Yeah, so finally, let me again extend my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family for the Newcretown tragedy, the stampede. I once served as financial secretary for the Newcretown Association in the Americas, and so I'm an integral part of that family. I'm also bereaved in essence, so I extend deepest sympathy to the families of those who lost their relatives. The president was there. He visited Newcretown. He extended his sympathy, declared 3 days of mourning. That's an effort in the right direction. And so for tonight's discussion, again, let me just conclude by saying, I repeat, the CPP is dead. And I want to agree with the gentleman who said that 2023, my uncle may not be a candidate in the race in 2023 due to the factors that are currently going on in Liberia. And two, that President Weah, in my opinion, has shown to the Liberians that he has Liberia at heart. He's not perfect. Too many flaws are going on in his government. Government officials are exercising a high degree of corruption. In my opinion, some of his inactions on these issues will affect him down the line. But precluding that, Mr. President will be elected in 2023 if the conflict, if the CPP or the opposition continue to remain staggered, disorganized, disjointed, a poor communication system in their ranks, and not reaching the Liberians, they will have themselves to blame. But Mr. President will remain in his office in the next 6 years. Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure being here always. I hope we can come back again to discuss some of the major issues we have here.
Thank you, James. Thank you. It's always good to have you.
Thank you, James.
A
It was a
very
pleasure.
poised, quiet, kind, collective James Koiyan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Moses, man, listen, good conversation here tonight.
It
We've run out of
was.
time,
Yeah,
but
it was.
everything here is important.
Yeah.
I mean, when we come back on Tuesday to discuss this this stampede thing in Newcretown, I can imagine what the conversation would be like.
Yeah.
Because again, I understand people are saying the president. But yes, it is the president. Showing up to Newcretown and just being solemn, and you holding a press briefing, we barely can hear what you're saying.
Man was talking to his girlfriend. How he sounded.
And then you send a communication about a 3-day, but yet we have not heard you with that national anthem played in the background and coming out with authority as a president and saying this is not under my watch again, and demand, that something has to be done about this. And somebody said to me in a conversation, it's the president's leadership style. But then I said, hold on. If the president, Weah, was campaigning, he was not doing press briefing. He was engaging the people. Even with hello, subject verb agreement, we all understood it. We accepted it. He was still talking to the people when it was campaign time. Now you're the president. And then you can't talk to the people, but you only send a little press briefing here, released from the executive mansion. Showing up is one thing, but absolutely making your presence and your voice. That's what people want to hear.
He did not.
But we'll come back to it Tuesday. And again, I will say this, and I say this on my salvation. That I love President Weah as a Liberian. I love President Weah in his position as the president. I have said this. I just don't like when he fails to do what is right by the people. What is right by the people. And these are the opportunities that leaders find. These are the opportunities that leaders find to make the difference.
Yeah.
When I studied leadership, you look for opportunities and in calamities, instead of confusion, in disasters. That's when leaders rise to the occasion. Can continue to take this business as usual. President Weah need to do the bodies count since he became president. Let's be practical here tonight, Moses. He needs to do the body counts since he became president. And when people talk, then you say, "Oh, no."
They hit the man. They hit the man.
I don't have no problem with President Weah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
We've not been closed, but he's a guy who recognizes people, and I give him the credit. He meets when we used to pass in person on the soccer field at stadiums and stuff, he would give me the head nod, and just keep moving. That's the kind of guy he is. But this leadership is serious. This is serious business. And you ascend to the leadership in a crisis country, a country emerged out of a disaster, I would call it. It's civil war. It's civil war. And I keep saying our country is in a serious situation because the generation from 1985 to 1990, then to now, don't know what Liberia was. Many of them don't have the home upbringing that you and I had. The other day we had Dr. Joe Baba here. He was talking about mannerism. Oh yes, I have manners because I know when I see my elders, I know when I see my community, the neighbors in my community, I know how to address older people. Go to Liberia today. Far in between, you will find those kids. How can you stab somebody broad day for the cell phone? Maybe the cell phone don't even have a SIM card, but only because you saw it's a cell phone. Why this country has gotten so to this point, degenerated to this point? And people think that because you have high fence and you have your generator and you can drive in your convoy, so you're exempt. So really, you're exempt. And then when we talk about these things, then we hit the government, we hit CDC. If I were president, say the same thing if I was not doing my job.
Yeah. Yes. You said almost everything. I would just like to say that Mr. Weah has to step up to the place. Every day, every time when these things happen, he goes in the public, he come across as, grossly incompetent. He's not measuring up. He spent more time on leisure than actually governance. And Liberian people did not elect him to be a pastor. They did not elect him to play basketball. They did not elect him to be a musician.
And play kickball too. I was wondering why he played for
and he was elected. Look, Mr. Weah spent more than 12 years running for the presidency of Liberia. And he's president today. He can't even speak to the nation. You ever heard this guy speak to Liberia? Never. He doesn't grant news interviews, rarely. If he does.
He can go to the UN. Then they say, that's deliberate.
Yeah.
This is sycophantic, man. Come on, man.
He underperforms in almost every area. And the implications for 2023, Mr. President, if you don't step up, don't blame the people if they vote you out. So you really have to step up to the plate. The fight against the Zogos, the war individuals in that country, Mr. President, you have to take this head on. You can't sleep about it. Fund the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, pay those people well. Give them equipment, fund the police, fund the military, and go after these criminals. And that's how I would like to wrap it. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Now, listen, it was good conversation. We'll be back here Tuesday. We'll cover the situation the other day. again, like Hassan says, and I like to remember what he said that he learned at the BBC. It's better to be last and get it right
Yeah.
than to be first and get it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not about us rushing because it's news and we want to be a part of news breaking. Slow down.
Slow
News
down.
will be
Take
news.
your time.
You know, we'll
Yeah.
we'll come to the news. So on Tuesday we'll be discussing the stampede. At this what you call
crusade.
Crusade. And I would want to bring a religious person in here because I saw some of the tips coming from that crusade. You know, pastor they're pushing people here, throwing them down, and talking about he performing miracles. My man, Liberian society is so gullible right now. It's unbelievable. People will settle for mediocrity and anything. You know,
you know, we get a quick. This. I saw this post on Facebook. You know, someone asked this question. He said, "But this guy, you know, was predicting the future of people. He was saying all these, you know, say all this good thing about what will happen in the future. But was he not able to figure out that hey, at the end of the crusade, this was going to happen?
Yeah, or his own future, you know." But the man, I be man, the man got confirm. The next thing they'll have an airplane or helicopter.
But yeah, we'll come back to it. So you have some motorcade with Sari, my man.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
Thank you too.
All right, we'll catch up, man, later. All right.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Again, this is the Issues Room, the alternative to social media platform emerging out of Liberia. We discuss the issues trending in our country, but we also talk about the African continent and the diaspora. We want to thank Prince Janae for coming in the house tonight. Thomas Awaji, thanks to have you. Baron Brown, James Davis, Alberta Davis Nemo, Bennett O'Connor. Thank you, Bennett. The other day for the $50, we gave that money over to the LRA, and thanks for your contribution to their cause. Baron Brown, thank you so much for being in the house tonight. Florence Kinsley, Edwin Freeman, Emmanuel Tier, Isa Kofa, Achimor Fredericks, Klakba, Eskandakai Masale II. It was good having you again tonight. US Visa, Rivers S Pro, Patricia Pay, Cindy Martin Kweye from Georgia. It was good having you in the house. Good to have you, James Davis, Aku Joseph Koma, Yvette Sivas. It was good having you again, Madam Yvette Sivas, all the way there in Georgia. You're right, better late than never. Valentine Precious. Magdalene Mayoga. This is the part I like on the song when it says Zoba. You remember it? Right? Yeah. We say happy. Welcome to our man Baron Brown. It was good having you in the house. Ibrahim Kender, Lamin Tai, Booth Jessica, Kali Katakor, Bati Fambule, Thomas Harvey, Edwin Freeman, Prince E. Thompson Sr., Hassan Bilite, Gobla Zo, Malcolm Wilimoga Joseph, Comfort Abu, Nancy Ruth Anderson, Flomo II, Prince Janier, Ella Hoke, Abdullahi Atamba, T. Dawkins Richards. All right, thanks so much, folks, for being here with us. We'll be back here on Tuesday, God's willing. My name is Volcano Shelton. Have a good night.